Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions. Thank you again so much for our time together. This is the first day of the work week. Please remember that God is going to bless all the work of your hands this week. I want us to go back to the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2, beginning with verse 12 today. Paul said, "Now this is our boast. Our conscience testifies that we have conducted ourselves in the world, and especially in our relations with you, in holiness and sincerity that are from God. We have not done so according to worldly wisdom, but according to God's grace. For we do not write to you anything that you cannot read and understand. And I hope that as you have understood us, spiritual leaders, in part, you will come to understand fully that you can boast of us, just as we boast of you in the day of the Lord Jesus." Paul said, as a leader, he said, sometimes our actions don't exactly add up by the world standards. He said, we don't conduct ourselves among you with worldly wisdom. We conduct ourselves with holiness. We conduct ourselves with sincerity among you, but we don't do so with worldly wisdom. We're not politicians. We're not people that are trying to get people to like us. We're not people that are trying to be a leader. I mean, at least forgive me. We are leaders, but we're not trying to be a leader. We're not trying to act like something. We're just being who we are. Now, Paul said, because we don't act with worldly wisdom, sometimes we confuse you. But he said, just as you've come to understand us as spiritual leaders a little bit, he said, I pray that you would come to understand us fully. Now, you're going to have to understand something, brothers and sisters. As pastors, we're different than a businessman. I'm not a businessman. My interest is not in the profit. My interest is not in the bottom line. My interest is in souls. My interest is in helping people and feeding the hungry and getting people born again. Our interest is not in return on investment on a project. Our interest is in building a spiritual heritage for our spiritual children's children. As pastors, we are different. And sometimes as a businessman, you try to understand us and we confuse you. Just as you understand us in part, keep working at it until you understand us fully. We're not politicians. We're not businessmen. We're not salesmen. We're pastors. We're a little different to understand. But I would challenge you today. Try to look at the pastors. Maybe you're on the other side of the world. Try looking at your pastor with different eyes. And rather than trying to fit him into a box that you do comprehend and catalog and categorize him, why not begin to understand him or her for who they are?